I completely understand your desire to frame the misunderstanding about baptism. Like, someone thinks baptism doesn't save, but it actually does. Like, this is an innocent misunderstanding. But there's a difference between ignorance and an innocent misunderstanding and rejecting the truth. Like, when Paul talks about false gospels and people who accept false gospels being accursed, it's not just a matter of the gospel being what Christ has done for us. I think in that instance, it's a way of being saved, because the Galatian heresy is you must be circumcised and keep the law of Moses to be a Christian, even if you're a Gentile. You're adding requirements to the faith, to the gospel. So a false way to be saved, to me, is also a false gospel. Now, if someone has only spent their life in a Free Grace Community Baptist Church and all they've been told is that baptism doesn't save, are they responsible for that? That seems to be the root of the question. But let's think about 1 Kings 13:18. A prophet is told, go do here, go preach, come back, but don't stop with anyone, don't eat any food or take any drink, I think, in anyone's house. And this prophet comes out, he says, oh, I'm a prophet, and God said it's okay, because that prophet lied. The person still faced consequences because he knew what God told him. And just because someone claims to be a prophet and tells you something otherwise or completely contrary or contradictory does not mean you're not responsible for that. Those who diligently seek him will find the truth. God rewards those who diligently seek him. We should all believe that. But you have the same problem with this that you have for the unevangelized. If I thought that if I didn't preach Acts 2:38 to someone, that, God could overlook their ignorance and just accept them, then that would restrict me from preaching the gospel. Be like, there's someone on an island somewhere that's never heard the gospel. I don't know how God's going to judge them, but am I not going to try to go to them and preach the gospel to them because, well, maybe God will welcome them in without obeying the gospel? You tie yourself up in knots trying to reason through that. I'm not advocating for understanding everything about the Bible or having perfect theology, but the answer to what must I do to be saved is vital and important. As far as our lives go as Christians, how we ought to worship, what sound doctrine is, these are also important. And the Bible doesn't talk about differences of opinion for second and third tier doctrines. There are only matters of opinion because there are some topics the Bible speaks about that just aren't as 100% clear as others. But God certainly made how to be saved one of those things that is crystal clear. I may have gotten a little bit distracted and not gotten to the root of your question, but let's not put it out as, well, do you have to understand or misunderstand? Like, I'm not accusing you of framing it in any way. I'm not accusing you of being dishonest, but the way of framing it as a misunderstanding as opposed to a rejection of the truth and following unsound and heretical doctrine. I can wish no one goes to hell, but hell is still a reality. It's a biblically taught reality. I can wish that people wouldn't be condemned because they were deceived, but that's why the condemnation of false teachers is so strict. There's nothing special about anyone other than searching the scriptures, determining whether these things are true or not. And then once you're certain of the truth, not compromising on it.